Three coins, 1941, 1990, and 1992, one from America, one British, and all three have mint marks and errors that could turn pocket change into thousands of dollars. Let's start with coin number 1, the 1941 Mercury dime with the D mint mark. Now, the 1941 Mercury dime is not as rare as the 1916 D we talked about earlier, but it still has serious value when you find the right version. In 1941, 3 mints were producing these dimes. Philadelphia, with no mint mark, struck over 175 million coins. San Francisco, with an S, struck around 43 million. And Denver, with a D, struck approximately 45 million. Most 1941 dimes in circulated condition are worth $3 to $5 in silver value alone because they are 90% silver. But the 1941 D, the Denver version, carries a premium above melt value because of collector demand. A 1941 D Mercury dime in average circulated condition is worth $5 to $10. In better condition with sharp details and minimal, where you are looking at $15 to $30. And in uncirculated condition with full bands visible on the fasces, that is the bundle of sticks on the reverse, the value jumps dramatically. A certified MS-65 full bands 1941 D Mercury dime has sold for $200 to $500. And the finest examples in MS-67 have crossed $2,000 at major auctions. $2,000 for a dime from 1941. Now here is what you need to check. The mint mark is on the reverse on the lower left side of the fasces. Look for that small D. If you see it, check the condition closely. Are the bands on the fasces fully separated and sharp? Full bands mean full premium. Worn or flat bands mean the coin is worth less. A regular 1941 D in circulated condition is worth $5 to $10. But a high-grade example with full bands is worth hundreds. Now we move from a 1941 dime to a 1990 nickel. And this one has an error that most people completely overlook. Let me show you what happened. Coin number 2, the 1990 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark. Now at first glance, the 1990 nickel looks completely ordinary. Thomas Jefferson on the front, Monticello on the back. Nothing unusual. The U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins at both Philadelphia and Denver in 1990. Most of them are worth exactly 5 cents. Face value. Nothing more. But here is what makes 1990 special. The Philadelphia Mint, which marks its coins with a small p on the obverse next to Monticello, produced over 663 million nickels in 1990. That is a massive number. These coins flooded circulation. But during that massive production run, something went wrong. Some 1990 P nickels were struck with errors. And those errors turned ordinary 5-cent coins into pieces worth hundreds of dollars. The most famous error on the 1990 P Jefferson nickel is the doubled die obverse. This happens when the die that stamps the design is engraved incorrectly or shifts during production, causing the image to appear twice in a slightly offset position. If you look closely at the words "In God We Trust" or the word "Liberty" on the obverse, and you see clear doubling or a shadow effect, you might have a coin worth serious money. A 1990 P Jefferson nickel with a strong double die on "In God We Trust" can sell for $100 to $300 depending on the strength of the doubling and the overall condition of the coin. But there is another error that is even more valuable. Some 1990 P nickels were struck off-center. When the blank coin is not properly aligned during striking, the design gets stamped off to one side, leaving part of the blank metal visible on the edge. A 1990 P nickel with a 10 to 20% off-center strike can bring $50 to $150. A coin with a dramatic 30 to 50% shift, where a major portion of the design is missing, can sell for $200 to $400, depending on how visually striking the error is. And then there are wrong planchet errors. Some 1990 nickels were accidentally struck on dime planchets or penny planchets. These are extremely rare, and when authenticated, they can sell for $500 to $1,000 at auction. Now here is what you need to check right now if you have 1990 nickels. First, look for the P mint mark on the obverse on the right side next to Monticello. If you see a P, you have a Philadelphia coin. No mint mark at all means it is from before 1980, when Philadelphia did not mark nickels. Second, examine the lettering on the obverse under magnification. Look very closely at "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." Do you see any doubling? Any shadow effect? Doubled dies are easy to miss with the naked eye, but under a magnifying glass, they become obvious. Third, check the alignment. Is the design perfectly centered on both sides, or is it shifted noticeably to one edge? Off-center means error. Error means value. Fourth, weigh the coin if you can. A standard Jefferson nickel weighs exactly 5 grams. If your coin weighs significantly more or less, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. A regular 1990 P nickel in circulation is worth 5 cents. But a double die error is worth $100 to $300. An off-center strike is worth $200 to $400. And a wrong planchet error is worth $500 to $1,000. So if you have a jar of nickels at home, especially from the 1990s, go through them. Look for 1990. Check for that P mint mark. And examine the lettering closely under magnification. Because what looks like ordinary pocket change might actually be a coin worth hundreds of dollars. Now we leave America and head back to Britain for the final coin, the 1992 2p. And this year has a story that ties directly into what we talked about earlier with the 1979 error. Stay with me because this is where it all connects. Coin number 3, the 1992 British 2p. Now 1992 is a significant year in British coinage because this is when the Royal Mint officially switched from bronze to copper-plated steel for all 2p coins. It was a cost-saving measure. Bronze was expensive. Steel was cheaper. So starting in 1992, every 2p coin produced was made with the new metal composition. The Royal Mint struck over 250 million 2p coins in 1992. They flooded circulation across the UK. Most of them are worth exactly 2p. Face value. Nothing more. But here is what makes 1992 collectible. Some 1992 2p coins were struck with errors. Off-center strikes, doubled dies, and clipped planchets have all been documented on 1992 coins. A 1992 2p with a dramatic off-center strike can sell for £100 to £250. A coin with a doubled die showing clear doubling in the feathers or the lettering can bring £80 to £200. But the real reason collectors focus on 1992 is because it marks the transition year. This is the year the metal changed. And transition years are always significant to serious collectors because they represent a shift in minting history. So if you have a 1992 2p, check it for errors. Look at the alignment on both sides. Is the design centered or shifted to one edge? Examine the Prince of Wales feathers under magnification. Do you see any doubling in the lines? Check the edge for any clips or irregularities. A regular 1992 2p is worth 2p, but an error version could be worth hundreds of pounds. So there you have it. 3 coins. A 1941 D Mercury dime worth up to $2,000. A 1990 P Jefferson nickel with errors worth $300 to $1,000. And a 1992 British 2p marking a historic transition in metal composition. Every single one of these coins started as ordinary pocket change, but mint marks, errors, and condition turned them into something collectors want. If this video helped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more coin finds. Drop a comment. Do you have any of these 3 coins? I want to hear what you find. See you in the next one.